Everyone believed I was still me, but I knew the truth. I was the one who didn't belong anymore. It started subtly, a feeling I couldn't quite shake, like a misplaced memory or a dream that lingers too long after waking. I'd walk into a room and the conversation would stutter, but not in the way it does when someone is surprised to see you. It was more like they were waiting for someone else, and I was just a temporary placeholder, a ghost in my own home. My family smiled at him. They laughed at his jokes, used my name. When I tried to speak, no one reacted. The first time it happened, my mother was in the kitchen, humming a tune she always hummed while cooking. I said something, I don't even remember what, something about how good it smelled. She didn't turn around. She just kept humming. I thought maybe she hadn't heard me. So I said it again, louder this time. Mom, nothing. Then he walked in. The other me, he leaned against the counter and said the exact same thing I just had. And she turned, her face breaking into a warm smile. Dinner's almost ready, she said to him. Go wash up. He winked at her, and then his eyes met mine for a fleeting second. There was no recognition, no malice, just emptiness. I stood right in front of them. I screamed, nothing. It was like I was never born. I waved my hands in front of my father's face as he watched TV. I followed my sister around her room, yelling her name, begging her to see me. It was useless. I was a phantom, a whisper on the wind that no one could hear. I was utterly and completely invisible. The house that was once my sanctuary became a prison, each room a new stage for my silent, desperate performance. I watched him live my life, celebrate my birthday, even cry over a sad movie with my family huddled around him on the couch, and I was just there, a silent observer to my own erasure. The phone vibrated in my hand, a final voicemail from my voice. It was the only physical object that still seemed connected to me, this cold slab of glass and metal. It had been dead for days, but suddenly, it buzzed with a life of its own. The screen lit up with a single notification, new voicemail. My heart, or what was left of it, hammered against my ribs. I knew who it was from before I even listened. With a trembling thumb, I pressed play. There's only room for one of us. And they already chose. The voice was mine, but it wasn't. It was smoother, more confident. The voice of someone who belonged. It was the voice of the person my family now loved. The message was short, brutal, and final. It wasn't a threat. It was a statement of fact. The world had moved on, and it had simply edited me out of the picture. The call ended, and the phone in my hand went dark again, becoming just another inert object in a world that no longer acknowledged my existence. He lives my life better than I ever did. He smiles more, loves harder. No one misses me. It's the cruelest part of it all. I watch him from the periphery, from the silent spaces between moments. I see him succeed where I struggled. He remembered anniversaries I forgot. He tells better jokes. He has a patience with my parents that I never managed to find. He is the idealized version of me, the son and brother they always wanted, and because of that, there is no void for me to fill. There is no sense of loss. How can they miss someone who was so seamlessly replaced by a superior model? I realized something terrifying. Every reflection, every shadow, was a door, and I was standing on the wrong side. It started when I'd catch a glimpse of myself in a window at night, or in a puddle after it rained. For a split second, I'd see not the empty space where I stood, but a flicker of the other world. The real world. The one he occupied. The shadows in the corner of my room would lengthen and twist into shapes that were unquite right. They weren't just absences of light, they were portals. Thin spots in the fabric of reality. I had stumbled through one without even knowing it. And now I was trapped in the negative space, the dark reflection of the life I once knew. Tonight, someone is watching this video. Someone who feels slightly off. Maybe you've been feeling a little disconnected lately, a little out of place in your own skin. You dismiss it as stress or fatigue. But have you ever caught a glimpse of movement in a mirror when you were perfectly still, or felt a cold spot in a sunlit room? Maybe you've had a conversation and felt like you were speaking to a stranger wearing a familiar face. Be careful. Pay attention to the reflections, to the shadows, and maybe you already opened the door. If you want the next part, let me know.